now really want to kind of go back and try and understand some of the influences which have created an individual who's redefining the payments and financial landscape.
I think a couple things that are relevant. I think I was Montessori educated, or I went to Montessori school, and that was influential for me because that was a learning environment which encouraged risk-taking and encouraged you to explore and pursue your own ideas. It was not a rigid top-down education. It was very much a you're in charge of your own destiny, and encouraging kind of you to kind of pull the threads that are interesting to you. So that actually influenced a number of things for me. So that was important, and sort of the kind of progressive Deweyite education kind of model. Our parents, they were not in business or entrepreneurship or anything like that. They were social workers, worked in mental health, did a lot of progressive work, ran homeless shelters, like a very different background. But they were also people who I think really believe we're here to improve the world, and we're here to change the world. And like big hard things like civil rights, or just so many big hard things that have happened historically, that you can do those things. And so I was raised with that as a backdrop, and that was important for me. And then I think probably a catalyst moment was when my brother and I convinced our father to get us an Apple II computer in 1982 or something like that. That was a really big deal. And so we got an Apple II computer in 1982 and just obsessed on it, right? So we were born of the Apple generation, born of the PC revolution, and just spent endless time hacking, learning, doing all of the things that you did with that. And that was like a revolutionary device.
What did you do?
We did everything from like learning how to like build databases and spreadsheets, to learning programming languages, to like transcribing machine language into like games that you could build, getting connected to using the earliest modems, like the old like phone, kind of modems, and like connecting into what were the earliest forms of the online virtual world, like all this stuff. So, and we're constantly figuring out how to apply that in different ways, and became, I think, as young adolescents, like really excited and motivated by the stories of Bill Gates, of Steve Jobs, of Mitch Kapor, who had founded Lotus, of these people who were inventing the future, right? And so like was like very, very aware of these people, and like as books and stories and documentaries and other things came out, it was like, this is amazing, right? So then fast forward, when I was in college, I don't have a formal technical background. I like learned how to do coding young, but I didn't study computer science, did not become a professional. I eventually did like write software professionally a little bit. You wouldn't trust me to like do anything serious, but very self-taught technically. But in 1990, I was in college, and I was studying like basically political science, economics, philosophy, like this mixture of things. And at my college, my roommate, who happened to be like best friend from high school, he got a job, he had a job to help pay for college, like a work study job, we call that in college, where you do different things. He had a job working for what we now call like the IT department of the college. And the college is Macalester College in Minnesota. The college had gotten connected to the internet. And they'd gotten connected, I think, in 1988. And at that point, it was actually something called NREN, the National Research and Education Network. And there was ARPANET, which was the Defense Department network. It was the military network. But then National Research and Education Network was sort of like universities and colleges could connect to it. And then there were other clusters of universities around the world that were connecting to this over TCP/IP, the routing protocols. But in 1990, I got essentially what was a high-speed internet connection at the time into my dorm room, into my personal computer, and I was like, I'm going to check this out, and it was like like just totally mind-blowing. Just like, I cannot believe this. And trust me, the internet in 1990 is really different. But it really revolutionized how I thought about the world. So I was studying basically the collapse of the Soviet Union, and I was studying comparative economic systems, and I was very, very interested in journalism, and very interested in kind of, international journalism. And so I like plugged in, and all of a sudden I was in direct communication with people behind the Iron Curtain who had access to the internet through research university programs. And I was communicating to them about what they were witnessing with tanks rolling down their streets in the Baltics. And I was communicating with people who were in the midst of ethnic cleansing in the former Yugoslavia, in the Balkans, and communicating with the Serbs and the Croats and the people in Sarajevo, and like getting what you'd think of as citizen journalism, and like trying to parse through all of that. And it was just like one of these moments where I was like, this is just so transformative. And my belief was, this is going to change the world. This is like disintermediation, this concept of an open network where anyone can connect and anyone can share information that connects anyone in the world. And I could see that you could do that with a personal computer. It was like, wow, everyone's going to have a personal computer. Everyone's going to be connected to this. This is going to change the world. So I went super deep technically on the internet. Basically, I was like, I need to understand, like, what is an IP packet? How does it work? Like from the bottom up, like everything on the internet. I had to learn it all. And then I just became obsessed about it. I made it the center of my academic work. And then when I graduated college in 1993, there were no jobs. It was a recession, end of a recession in the US. And I just said, I'm going to be an internet consultant, whatever that meant. That led to like co-founding my first company and inventing like a new paradigm for how you could use the web for software distribution, and programming languages for how to build interactive applications on the internet. This is in the mid 1990s. So, but kind of, it was all sort of brought in through those moments and those experiences, and this sort of radical empowerment that happens. And I would say that the same things that motivated me about the internet in 1990, 1991, 92, all these periods, pre any commercial internet, the same things that motivated me about it then are exactly the same things that motivate me about it right now. And if the internet has revolutionized information and communications, right, the internet hasn't revolutionized our political and economic systems yet, and it's going to. And this technology is what is going to do that. It is going to be what lays down a completely new infrastructure for society that is going to build from the ground up systems of governance, systems of economics, systems of value exchange. All this is going to get built up on this infrastructure. And so that's sort of exciting. And when I think about the founding of Circle, when I was looking at this in late 2012, early 2013, I was like, man, when the web emerged in 1994, when the web emerged, I was just, in my early 20s, and I was convinced like it's going to be the platform for all information and software in the future. Like I knew that, but I was really young and I didn't have all the skills that I needed to like go after it in a big way. I mean, I helped co-found a company that went public. That was amazing. But when I looked at what was happening with blockchain and crypto, and I could see that it's like a similar moment, I thought this is gonna be way bigger than the web. The ultimate impact on the world will be way bigger than the web, because we're talking about money and the economy. And like it's gonna be bigger, and it might take 20 years. That'll be the best 20 years of my life. And that's sort of what led me into kind of the pursuit of Circle right now.